Hey everybody, welcome back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Here on the channel, I review 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, movies, TV shows, things like that. I talk about their picture quality, audio quality. We're all about physical media here on the channel, and if that's your thing too, then definitely make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so you can see my reviews here. So today we have a big release here. This is one that is not actually out yet. I'm reviewing this a little more than a week in advance, and I'm very glad to have this here. This is one of these big movies. You already know what it is because you clicked on the video, but it is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the quote-unquote last Mission Impossible movie in the series here, starring, of course, Tom Cruise, among others. Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames is in this, Haley Atwell, Pom Klementieff, and this was sent to me by Paramount Pictures Home Entertainment, so big thank you to Paramount for sending this out. As always, as I like to say, these reviews are not representative of an endorsement from them or anything like that. When I do these reviews, they have no say in how I talk about this film or the films or movies or releases or whatever they may be. They have absolutely no control over what I say. They really don't care about what my review is. I just talk about my opinion, how I think this looks on 4K, and that's it. All they really care about is that I make a video about the product, not what I say about the product. They do not care about that. So again, this is my opinion alone. Anytime I do one of these reviews, if you're new to the channel, I like to talk a little bit about the movie first, because I did see this in theaters, and it is a great movie to see in theaters. I love the Mission Impossible series as a whole. I think they're phenomenal movies. I mean, it's real, true, just escapism entertainment, and I love it. It's just, they're fabulous movies, and Tom Cruise is just an absolute lunatic. Absolutely phenomenal actor. I know his personal life is a little divisive. I'm not going to get into that here, but I do love him as an actor. Would I want to hang out with him in real life? Probably not, but I do love him as an actor, and this movie here is just kind of the culmination of almost 30 years worth of this franchise, and I have to say, definitely not my favorite Mission Impossible film at all. It's probably around 45 minutes too long. The pacing in the first half is just so all over the place, and it is a nonstop exposition dump for like over an hour in this movie. Even later on in the movie, people and the characters are just dumping exposition over and over and over again. And it's a little rough around the edges in that aspect. But the third act of the film, or about midway through the second act, the movie really picks up. And there are some incredible, heart-pounding action sequences that they did for real. And that's really the big thing here is, of course, Tom Cruise is all about doing his own stunts, and the stunts that do happen in this film are just kind of unreal. They are just mind-blowingly just wild. So besides the extraordinarily long length of this film, and I don't mind long movies, I actually love longer movies, but this one was a case where it really didn't have to be this long. A lot of it is recapping the previous film. But the other thing about this movie that I wasn't big on was the ending. I kind of wasn't crazy about the ending of this movie. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything for you here. Actually, even the back of the disc here doesn't spoil anything. It doesn't even give you a plot summary of the movie. It just gives you a two-line setup, and that's it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's definitely nothing in comparison to the original film, or even like Mission Impossible 3 or Ghost Protocol. Those are probably my favorite of the series. Even Mission Impossible Fallout is a good one, but this one, it just, I don't know. It's got some problems, but it's a nice addition. It's a nice ending if it actually is going to end up being the last one. The ending sequence of this movie, the final act of this film, it really got me going, and it's almost worth the price of admission just for the biplane sequence alone. That is just one of the nuttiest action sequences I have ever seen in my life. You kind of have to see it to believe it, honestly. It's a humdinger, and I don't use that phrase very often. So anyway, let's jump right into the review here. This is, as I mentioned, it's a brand new film. This just came out this year. You know, this was shot completely digitally. So unlike a lot of the other Mission Impossible films, they chose to shoot this one digitally. And, you know, again, as a film being shot digitally, it is, you know, it can be altered in any way, shape, or form. They can really make this movie look exactly the way they want it to look. And I didn't even really notice it when I saw it in theaters, but this is a fairly dark film. And I don't just mean in tone, but it's very dimly lit through almost like 75% of this film is very dimly lit. It's a very moody type atmosphere that they're going for in this one, much more so than maybe any of the previous Mission Impossible films. You know, with that dark cinematography, the Dolby Vision on this disc really helps out with those black levels. Now, as I mentioned, it's a brand new movie, so I really wasn't expecting any kind of issues with the picture quality on this, and there really isn't. It's just a very, very dimly lit movie through, like I said, most of the film. And if you've got a TV that can handle black levels, I watched this on my LG OLED. It's a C4 77-inch OLED. And it looked great. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to look bad, but it just looked so good. Just keep in mind that if you have a TV or even a projector type setup, this movie is so dark at certain times, you may have some trouble with it. On this 4K, it does have some really deep inky blacks. Shadow detail is really, really good on this one. And the movie also, ironically enough, features an artificial layer of grain on it. And I've mentioned this in a few other films that I've talked about, actually fairly recently, including Superman, the new Superman film. They have added a very, very, very fine layer of grain through basically the entirety of the film. Even if you do not like film grain, I love seeing film grain in the movie, so I kind of get a kick out of it when these digital productions add film grain. I guess it actually helps out with banding issues and things like that. One of the viewers here actually commented on my Superman video and put that in there. I actually did not know that. So that's really cool. You know who you are out there, the person that commented that. Thank you for that. That was really, really cool. I learned something new that day, so I appreciate that. You know, it doesn't really interfere with the movie at all. It actually just makes it look a little filmic, which I'm cool with. Some of these movies that don't have any sort of film grain at all, that are just straight, just digital, like clear as day, I always find them kind of weird and artificial looking. So it is neat that they added that to this film. The film also features some brighter sequences. And in those scenes, especially, you know, the biplane sequence, I'm going to mention that sequence a lot because it is the standout. It's on the cover of the movie for a reason. Though that sequence just is incredible looking. It, compared to the rest of the film, that sequence is super, super bright, and it looks very vivid. Most of the rest of the film has a very natural, very lifelike, accurate color palette. The sunlight is super bright, and again, the Dolby Vision really brings out those lifelike colors and the vivid colors in that sequence too. It's just a very pretty looking film. There actually are some really beautiful, warm color spectrums in this film, even though most of the movie does have kind of a cold, darker kind of color spectrum. There's a scene where a fire breaks out. Again, I won't spoil it for you, but that sequence, the fire and everything, just looks so bright and so beautiful, this orangey yellow color. It just really jumps out at you during that sequence. And also, it is not really advertised much on the box. It's very, very small print on the back. but the movie does actually have the IMAX sequences intact. So there are a few moments in the movie, there's certain sequences they shot specifically for IMAX where the aspect ratio will change from 2:39 to 1, and it will expand outward to that 1:90 to 1 IMAX ratio. So that's really cool that they included that on here. They've done that in a couple of the previous releases for the Mission Impossible series. They've done it again for this one. So really, really nice stuff. Now, as for the audio quality on the 4K disc here, this does also have a Dolby Atmos audio track. And even more so than the picture quality on this one, the Dolby Atmos on this is completely unreal. I was really impressed with the audio track on this one. There are so many moments, especially during the big action sequences, those set pieces, where if you have a home theater system that can support it, and I have a 5.1.2 setup here, and I gotta say, it is so immersive. You are right in the middle of the action, and I mean that truly in every way. There's stuff going overhead in certain sequences. Sound effects are perfectly placed all around you. Dialogue is very well placed, and the volume levels on this one are really good. I did not have to turn the volume up on this one very much at all. It's actually a very loud Dolby Atmos track, which is a nice change of pace. The sound effects really are the big standout here. They really engulf you. The musical score sounded really great as well. And the bass is actually kind of fairly deep at times. It's not used throughout, but you do get some really low tones and some booms on and off throughout this film. So it's a home run. I mean, the Dolby Atmos track on this one, if you have a home theater system, this is kind of one of those showpiece audio discs here. It's a knockout. It's a real good one. And if you want to show off your home theater sound-wise, this is a good one to put on. I really was impressed by that. Now, as for special features, this is actually a 3-disc set. And once I take the slip cover off here, you'll see there is a 4K, there's the film on Blu-ray, and then there's also a special features disc over here. Now, on the 4K and the standard Blu-ray that the film is included on, there are actually 3 commentary tracks. So one of which is a commentary with Tom Cruise and the director, Christopher McQuarrie. Tom does not do a ton of commentaries. He's only really done a few over the years, mostly for the Mission Impossible series. So it's nice he did another one for this film with the director. There's another one that has the director, Christopher McQuarrie, editor Eddie Hamilton, and the first assistant director, Mary Bolding. And then there's a third one that has the film's composers and the score producer. So there's really 3 completely different audio tracks on this in terms of commentaries that you can watch this movie with. I sadly did not have the opportunity to watch this movie 3 times over because, like I mentioned, it's almost 3 hours long. That's kind of a lot. So I'm sure they're cool. If you've listened to these in the future once this comes out, please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of those. There's also a completely isolated score audio track on here as well. So if you don't want to watch the movie with any kind of dialogue or sound effects, you can watch it with just the audio score. And again, that's kind of a special feature you don't see very often anymore, but it's included on the 4K disc here, which is really nice. That secondary Blu-ray there that has all the special features, that has a bunch of featurettes that have like making of sequences on there. So there's actually a couple featurettes. There's one about the making of the score of the film. That's a real short one. And then there's a little featurette about the biplane sequence, which is just wild to see. There's another one about the making of the underwater sequence. And then there's another one about the time when they were shooting in Svalbard. And then there's also a little featurette about the minecar chase scene that happens in the film. So that's pretty cool. There's also a about a 10-minute reel of deleted footage. And this is kind of like a montage type of thing. This is from little moments that were cut from the film, and even some alternate takes and stuff that were deleted. And that's actually really cool to see because it's almost raw footage. Some of it doesn't have special effects added. Some of them show you before and after. That's kind of a neat thing. It also has an optional commentary with director Christopher McQuarrie. I liked actually watching that one with the commentary because he provides a lot more information about what you're seeing. There's also some raw footage montages of the biplane river sequence and how they actually had to reshoot that, like, I think it was like 6 or 7 times. I can't remember how many times they shot it, but they did shoot it quite a lot, and that was mainly because the lighting didn't work in certain cases, and it was funny because they wanted to make sure it looked real. And in the first time they went around doing it, actually, the lighting made the planes look like they were CGI. And they didn't want that. And it's so funny how sometimes things like that happen. And there's another one that shows how they filmed Tom Cruise going from one biplane to another in that sequence. Some neat tricks of photography, but also how he kind of legitimately was hanging out of a biplane like thousands of feet up from the ground. So again, crazy, crazy stuff, but that has a commentary with Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie talking about the preparation and how they pulled that stunt off. There's also a couple 1 little minute promo spots that really focus on certain stunt moments. I think those were online before the film's release, but they're only about a minute long. And there's also some galleries and things like that that have little photos from the making of the film, some behind-the-scenes photos and stuff. So what did I think overall of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning here? This was a really, really good release here. Not the most beautiful-looking Mission Impossible film, in my opinion, but the picture quality, again, being a brand new film, digitally shot, it looked really good. It has really good black levels, and the audio quality on this one is the big, big standout. This is a absolute reference level Dolby Atmos track on this. It is a knockout. If you're a fan of the series, then this is kind of a necessary addition. It's, you know, the last one. So if you want to pick up Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, I'll leave a link in the description below that goes to Amazon. If you use that link, it does help me out here on the channel. However, if you really, really want to help me out, the best thing you can do is hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this review, and of course, subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. So that's all for today for Kavanaugh's Corner. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really, truly appreciate it. Until next time, I wish you guys all the very best. Please stay safe, keep collecting, and please don't jump out of a biplane midair. Just don't do that.